Hello everybody and welcome to this take 2 on the XTM Connect series. So essentially the WordPress connector with XTM requires for the installation and the integration of the WPML plugin, which is the WordPress multilingual plugin. Once you have that installed and set up in your account, you will get this option here on your dashboard. Now this is a WordPress website. This is the dashboard of the website. If you're not familiar with any WordPress sites, you can always use that and see. So this is the actual website here for the test purposes, and it contains some parts which we can localize and can translate in different languages. So if you go into your dashboard again, after you install the WPML, the plugin, you will receive these options here. And the available options are for you to choose the languages. Now all these languages are mapped against XTM. So the languages contained here will also be mapped on your XTM instance. So in this case, we have English as a default language for the website, and all the other languages we have selected here for localization. And in your translation management module here, you get to see any project statuses for previous translation. So you get to see parts that have been translated or requested for translation. So you can see this post is now translated in German, Greek, and Polish, and Japanese and French is in progress, as well as Spanish, which is now active. Sorry, Portuguese, which is now active and waiting for a translator, meaning that we have to assign it to a user in XTM. And also, this is the most important part on your website. So this is the XTM plugin, the actual connector, which gives you the option for a job list, a project list, and the settings. Now in the job list, you get to see active jobs or completed jobs or anything in between for the status here. We have waiting for translator, meaning that this project needs to go to XTM. Completed are completed tasks we've done before. And in progress means that this job is now in progress and it's sent to your account in XTM. The latest update for XTM for the WordPress connector will be the bulk actions, meaning that we now connected our templates from our account with XTM. So you can use one of your already existing templates or create new ones on your XTM instance, and then use that through the WordPress connector when you request translation. And the XTM mode allows you to select how the files will be translated. So it's going to be either on a single file level, meaning the translation is returned at the end of the project whenever the file is translated. Or if you have multiple files, you can select between a translation returned when each file is complete or when all the files are complete. So if you click on apply, you can select the difference between those two modes there. In the project list, you also have a view of all your projects. You get to see the project ID here and the unique WPML job ID. This is not a project ID for XTM. This is the unique project ID for XTM. This is a project ID coming from the WordPress connector. And you also get to see source target languages and the date of creation. Plus, you can check the XTM status again by refreshing this list here. And on the settings, which is one of the most important characteristics, more important features of the connector, is where you actually create a connection. You need to fill in the details here with your actual XTM URL for your account, your login name and your password on your XTM instance. You need to select an XTM user ID from one of your users in the system, as well as a customer ID for one of your customers in the system in XTM. Now, by customers in XTM, we refer to translation memory and terminology repositories. So you have to create a customer specifically for the WordPress connector, where all your translation memories will be inserted and updated when you create your projects. You also have the option of adding a project name prefix here, so you can clearly see the projects coming from your WordPress connector. In this case, we added the WordPress prefix. And also you can do the language mapping again, and also include or choose language variants. In this case, you could also choose French France, or not from French France, which is the primary language. You can also choose France Canada or Belgium. And once you've performed all these correctly and you fill in all the details correctly, you get to see this message here saying XTM authorization is complete. This means that you now have an active connection between your WordPress website and XTM. So the connector works and you can do translations. So let's translate something. Yesterday I tried to translate one part of the website, and as you can see here we have some translations active, some translations completed, and some haven't started. So every plus sign here means that you haven't translated this language. This icon here, the loading icon, means that the translation is still in progress. And the pencil side means the translation is completed and you can edit the German translation. Now, editing the German translation means that you can edit the translation in the editor here in WordPress. But for this demo today, we're not interested in that, so we will not do this translation here. We'll not edit it in the WordPress editor. We'll do it in XTM. So let's pick something we haven't translated here and select it for translation. So we get the XTM WordPress Connector part of the page and request translation to Greek. So in this case, it should open the editor. Again, we have requested this and it goes now onto our XTM connector here in the job list. So it should be available here in the job list. And again, for some reason, you can't select this connector. All right, let's select something else then. Let's go with this. Great. So this is the editor. This is the actual editor existing in WordPress. So you can do your own translation here if you want to, but we will not do that because we request this translation in XTM. Now, if you go into your job list here, it should be a job created and it should be in waiting for translation. Exactly. So it's waiting for translator, meaning that this project is now waiting for you to assign a template and then send it to XTM. So we'll perform a bulk action using our WordPress template here. And the mode, sorry for interruptions, and the mode will be single file. Once I click apply, one item sent to XTM. So if I log in back into my XTM instance here, I should be able to see a new translation job request here. And as you can see, WordPress XTM for Enterprises has been created right now, 11:45. Source language English, target language Greek. Now using the template, I will also see that I have pre-assigned users because it's contained in my template, and it's already started because the template is now in automation mode where it starts automatically. So I only have to do now is to actually go in the editor and perform some translation and finish the tasks. Just for the demo purposes, I will log in my Workbench, which is the new environment for XTM. And as you can also see, I already have pre-translated text here because I'm using a machine translation, an empty engine, which is Systran in this case. So I have all the fields pre-populated with my empty matches. So, well, okay, in this case, I won't go for quality. I just want to finish the task just for the demo purposes. And I'll accept Systran entries and complete the task. Again, this finishes the task. Now there are no more files in the project. Again, like in all XTM projects, this can be configured here so to include more steps, not just a translation step, but also correction, review, an LQA step, any other non-cat tool steps, and so on and so forth. So now this is completed. And if I switch views now, it should say finished. Yes. So as you can see, this task is now finished. And it's now back into our WordPress editor, into our WordPress, web page. And if I go back into post, this was a XTM for Enterprises. So now I have to find this here, and as you can see, XTM for enterprises is now ready because it's got the pencils icon now, which means it's been completed. So I can edit the quick translation, even in WordPress again. If I want to do a final review, I want to change anything, I can do this here. I can just change some things in the text and then save and close. As you can see, it's 100% complete, but I don't want to do that because my translation in XTM was perfect. I just want to see a preview of the post and how will that look on the website. So if I click on View Post here, website option again. As you can see, it's still in English. It's not in Greek. But the connector, and also this setup for the WordPress configuration for the WordPress website allows you to change languages here if you have localized this part of this website in any of those languages. So we have done this localization before in Spanish and now in Greek. And this is how it looks like in Greek now. So this is our translation. And this is how it will look like on your WordPress website. Essentially, this is the round trip. The only thing you need to configure again from the settings from the XTM connector would be to add in the user ID for your WordPress connector. In this case, I'm using my own user ID. So Vasilis admin, my user ID would be number 20. And also create a customer specifically for the WordPress connector, again, to fill in the customer ID there. So in this case, I've created a customer for WordPress. And as you can see here, that's where you find the customer ID.